The first Saturday in August has dawned beautifully in the village of Watkins, Glen, New York. Beautiful day for a stroll through the town where so much racing history has been made. The shores of Seneca Lake filled with sailboats. They'll be busy and about on the waters this afternoon, but the real action is happening up the hill at Watkins Glen International, where a full day of NASCAR action is about to begin with NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying here at the Glen. Our race coverage this afternoon at 1:30 Eastern on ESPN. 200 miles today for the NASCAR Nationwide Series drivers, but first, we've got to figure out who's starting where. It is a challenging 2.45 miles, 7-turn, plus a bus stop course for these drivers. Rusty Wallace, Brad Daugherty, this is going to be a challenge.
This will be a big challenge, there's no doubt about that. I mean, it's going to be tough to get around this racetrack, and you can't screw up, that's for sure.
They've given them a few extra runoff areas, Alan, but it'll be a lot of fun to watch these guys get up to speed first thing this morning.
High-speed S's, that critical inner and outer loop, the bus stop, the chicane. They've got about 8 names for it around here. And then the final 2 corners back around the start-finish line for these drivers to set one fast lap to try and get themselves a good starting spot in the field. Now, qualifying a little different here than most. Jamie Little has details.
Well, here in the Nationwide Series today, qualifying will have an entirely new look. The drivers will literally be racing each other for the fastest time. It's group qualifying, 8 to be exact. Now expect drivers to make 2 to 3 laps in each group. And of course, the goal is to turn the single fastest lap. Now, of course, the field is stacked from slowest to fastest from practice speeds yesterday. So you can imagine the buildup as we get to that final group that's going to be stacked. Vince Welch?
Well, Jamie, we're going to talk a lot today about those road course racers, those guys that have built their reputations on the road course, guys like Marcus Ambrose, Jacques Villeneuve, Boris Ed, Ron Fellows. But when you look at the 5 who will make up our final qualifying group, the fastest from yesterday's practice, 4 of those are the very familiar names we talk about every week. Carl Edwards, Brad Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick. The best talent rises to the top, whether you're on an oval or a road course. And AB, we're going to see plenty of it today.
Should be a lot of fun. Vince, thank you much. And inside the ESPN pit studio, good morning for our full day of NASCAR coverage from Watkins Glen. Alan Bestwick, Rusty Wallace, and Brad Daugherty. As you just heard, the qualifying format is a little different. But, Rusty, the pressure on the drivers the same, if not on a road course, more.
A lot of pressure, it really is. You just heard that the qualifying session is going to last about 5 minutes. That gives me options as a driver. Look, I do want to knock the fast lap out real quick. I want to go real fast. In order to do that, I'm going to have a lot of tape on the front of my car. That creates speed and downforce. But guys, if I mess up and get off course or something, hey, I'm going to have to run a second lap. And if I do that, this engine might overheat and wipe out my qualifying effort.
Yeah, that's the biggest threat to these guys, is making sure you stay on course. If you get off course, you have completely blown your opportunity to get a good qualifying spot. Plus, you have to go and race the car a few hours later. You got to get a solid lap, a clean lap, but stay on course.
Again, that one fast lap is what these drivers have to do every week in qualifying, but they're not downshifting, braking, turning right, going uphill, downhill on an oval track. They're going to do that here and try and lay that one quick lap in the books. Qualifying gets underway at Watkins Glen when we come back in just a minute. Glad you're with us.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is brought to you by AutoZone. For the auto parts, accessories, and advice you need, get in the zone. AutoZone. And FreeCreditScore.com. Get your score.
Just a moment away from the beginning of NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying here at Watkins Glen. The Nationwide Series race is over on ESPN at 1:30 this afternoon, beginning with NASCAR Countdown. NASCAR Now has the pre-race edition tomorrow morning, presented by 5 Hour Energy on ESPN2, 9 a.m., and then the wrap-up at 11 Eastern on ESPN2. That is tomorrow. NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying is next over on ESPN at 11 a.m. Eastern from the Glen. Then our coverage of the race from Watkins Glen is presented by GoDaddy.com. That's tomorrow at 1 Eastern. We start at noon with NASCAR Countdown on ESPN. Before we get going, just take a minute and update you on a couple of changes to this racetrack from a year ago when we were here. First, we'll start at the inner loop, the bus stop, the chicane, and all that area to the left that's been paved. Used to be a gravel trap.
It used to be a gravel trap, but one thing that's changed about this bus stop, guys, you're talking about, they've really kind of widened it up a little bit. They took some of the ripple strips, I call them, and made them softer. So what's happening now, these guys are actually charging this bus stop harder. They're carrying more speed coming into it.
And
when
as
they
a
carry
result,
more speed, this is what happens.
Yep.
They lose it, they spin, and we've seen this numerous times yesterday.
Yeah, Rusty and I stood there yesterday and watched guys just slip and slide trying to get through this corner, and they're trying to get the car woed down, get it into gear, get it back up to speed, and let it roll through the corner. And a lot of sliding. You see Brendan Gaughan come through here. He's almost got it. He hits the grass, and he goes for a ride. So we may see a lot of this today. Guys trying to make a little time through the bus stop.
A couple of other changes made in the name of safety at the exit of the next corner, turn 5 or the outer loop. Remember where Sam Hornish had the big crash last year? That runoff area has been paved. The barriers moved back, a safer barrier put in place to help the drivers from having a big incident there. At the other end of this straightaway, turn 6, the big, long, huge gravel trap that was there has mostly been removed and paved over, giving the driver some extra runoff room.
And a lot more confidence also. I mean, I've seen a lot of guys actually getting out in that stuff and racing on that new asphalt just a little bit yesterday. But I think we're going to see less cautions in the race because of this. I saw a lot of cars last year getting stuck in that gravel. I don't think that's going to happen this year.
Now, one of the guys we just saw have some troubles in practice yesterday, getting ready to go out and qualify now, is with Vince Welch.
Brendan Gaughan was third at Road America, but we did see that clip of him going around. Was that car, driver, or track?
No,
or a little bit of all combined?
It's all combined. No, we'd hooked up a rear bar on the car for the first time all day, and it just was too much rear end happy. So ended up starting around the bus stop and finished around the carousel. Took that back out and went back out. And our South Point Camry was really fast all day. I mean, we never got to the top of the board. We never did a qualifying run. And I run road courses like I do everywhere else, where you pick sections of the racetrack, work on those, get better, move to another section, and at the end of the day, you try to put a whole lap together.
Qualifying on a road course a lot different than what we do on an oval. From a driver's perspective, what do you think about going out in a group of 5?
I like European qualifying. It's what I did growing up, as a kid on sports cars and things. So I'm used to it. It's a lot of fun because it gives you a rabbit. And some days guys like a rabbit. Just I wish I would have been in a little different group so I could have had like a Marcos Ambrose rabbit or something like that. Try to keep up with that. You're going to be fast.
Brendan Gaughan looking to go fast today. And by the way, slim and trim, dropped about 40, 45 pounds. How about that? Looking good, huh?
There you go.
Yeah.
Brendan going to be in the third group to go out onto the racetrack to make, again, what they'll get at most is about 3 laps on this thing, but it's that one good lap that they really need to put up.
They want that one lap like we talked about earlier in the show, but the problem is, as a driver, you get out there, you go, I think I can go faster to second lap. I think I can go faster to third lap. Then you look at that water gauge and that baby's getting buried, and you're like, I don't want to tear up this motor. I better get this thing off the racetrack. So it's really, you really try to lay it out on that second, third lap.
Oh,
really, you got to do it the first
That's
one.
exactly right. And it's funny, yesterday when I was in the garage, I'd hear these guys come back after practice, and they'd say, I think I can go a little bit faster, a little bit faster. Well, you know what would happen? They'd go out, and you'd see them sliding through that bus stop backwards as they tried to go faster. So it'll be interesting to watch.
All right, as you see the first group of cars being sent out onto the racetrack now, there are 6 involved in the first group. There you see the drivers involved: Joey Scarello, Brian Keselowski, Kevin Hamlin, Dan Brody, Chase Miller, Matt Carter. As always, we get to a road course. There are a couple of names you're not familiar with, and we'll try to fill in some of those blanks as we have the ability to see each of these cars a little at a time. Here's one of the guys now. This is Joey Scarello. He's a 31-year-old from Long Island. Made his Nationwide Series debut out at Road America. Had a chance to talk to him for a little bit out there. Like a lot of the guys who've been running around some of the road racing circuits, just loves watching NASCAR racing, would love to be part of NASCAR racing, and said, the hardest part is trying to talk a team owner into letting you have a shot at it.
Yeah, it's a tough time, especially right now. The economy's really, really tough, and guys are trying to figure out how to go racing. But this young man's got some talent. He started his racing career in F2000 back in '96, and he's run the Trans Am Series for about 4 years. And Emerson Fittipaldi is his racing hero, Rusty. What do you think about that?
That's a pretty good hero to have. Now, one good thing for him is that all the cars are going to make the race. There's 43 starters that are here, so everybody gets to make the race. So he just needs to stay on the course now qualifying, because this guy will get to race today and to learn a lot about this racetrack.
So as Scarello took the green flag, that officially started the 5-minute clock for the session. So we are underway, and he'll be the first driver to record an official time here in a minute. You see the Group 1 clock there in the graphic just at the bottom of the live picture. So remember, the cars are out in reverse order from slowest to fastest in practice time. So this thing will build as we go along from group to group to group. And again, 6 cars on the racetrack at one time. So you get the chance to try and see if you can get a glimpse of that guy in front of you and run him down.
Yeah, that is absolutely true. But, you know, one thing you got to be careful when you're in this group qualifying like this, if one of these guys up front has a slow lap or gets off course or something, gets gravel or dirt all over the course, it can really mess up the guy behind him. So we're going to be watching that throughout qualifying, because we've seen that a lot in this style of qualifying. Dirt on the course and messing up your lap.
Well, and as you see guys who, like you say, are going to be guys that basically are going to be in the back of the field, I think it's smart, like you said, you got to make sure you stay on the racetrack. Even though if you get a glimpse of that guy up ahead, you don't want to make a mistake and put yourself or tear your race car up, not have an opportunity to race because the car is behind the wall. Make sure you get a good solid lap, get yourself in the race, and be ready to go racing today.
All right, so the first official lap is locked in. And there's your first
spin. That didn't take long.
That's actually Chase Miller. And in fact, Chase is a good friend of ours. He loves this. We flew him up here to this racetrack. I said, Chase, what are you doing? He said, well, I'm just going to start and park this car. I said, have you ever been to Watkins Glen before? He goes, never in my life. I've never even seen the place.
Inner loop, this looks like to me.
Comes through the inner loop there. Looks like he missed that corner just a little bit. Gets on the rumple strips Rusty was talking about. Boy, you get a little four-wheel drift, Rusty, and there she goes.
Oh, man, it seems like every time they get that right front tire on these new strips, it really gets the car sideways. And no experience here. Like I said, he's never been here before, so he's figuring it out the hard way.
The fastest lap, Kevin Hamlin has put that up in the 36 car. He made his 1 lap, and now he's turning it back up the pit lane. Now, they can enter the pit lane when you cross start finish line and go down through the first corner. There's an access road where you can turn right and go back into the garage behind the pit lane, and that's how the cars will be returning. That's where Hamlin was.
Well, they better hurry up and get off the track quick, because when they slow down to try to make that reverse run up there, you got a car coming behind you, so you got to get it on.
Yeah, that's exactly right. We look at Brian Keselowski, Brian the Bull Keselowski, as I call him, Brad's brother, and not had a lot of success on the road courses, but he's looking to make his first start here at Watkins Glen. He's going to get an opportunity today if he can just get a good, solid lap.
What he's more looking to do is get himself back into the top 30 in points.
Yeah, he's 31st right now in nationwide points, and he does need to get himself back in there so he has that guaranteed starting spot each weekend.
And this is a good spot to get yourself back in the top 30.
Yeah.
I mean, because there's going to be a lot of guys that don't have the experience. If he stays on course, that's a key thing to get that top 30.
So you saw Keselowski turn it into that access road behind the pit lane, and now coming down the straightaway. 92 car. This is, I talked to this young man yesterday, Dan Brody. He's a 25-year-old originally from South Carolina, has been living in North Carolina quite some time. He said he started racing dirt late models, been running some road racing series the last couple of years, and again, another one of those guys loving that possible move to NASCAR.
You're exactly right. I know Dan pretty well. Talked to him a little bit yesterday as well, and he's the guy that yesterday was talking about going faster. I didn't want to call him out, and then went out and spun out when he tried to go faster. But nice young man, 25-year-old young man trying to make his way into NASCAR, and he's run a little bit in the Camper World Truck Series, and good little racer, just needs an opportunity.
Scarello coming down with a minute left, and he should see the white flag, and does. So last lap if he wants to take the whole thing.
Yeah, he's just trying to get the heat in the tires, just get some experience, or run faster and faster and faster. Hey, talking about the heat in the tires, I know a lot of people back in the Southeast where it's 100 degrees. It's not 100 degrees here.
No.
It's pretty cool this morning, like in the 50s.
Yeah, 58.
And because of that, 58, okay.
58,
yeah, because of that, it takes a long time to get heat in the tires.
Oh, that's a good point.
So
Never thought about that.
maybe the second lap might be quicker because of warming these tires up.
All right, there you go.
He's going to go for the whole thing here. All the other cars in this session looks like have pulled off. So Scarello, the last one out on the racetrack, and he's gonna get the whole, looks like 4 laps in.
Good for him. He's getting his money's worth. Like Rusty said, he's giving himself an opportunity to run some laps. The more laps he can run, the more experience. It's just going to make him a better suited race car driver for this racetrack as we get into later in the day.
Guess I misspoke, because Chase Miller is still out on the racetrack as well. Just to be a white flag
Chase
for him.
just moved up to second position in this qualifying run, spun out, went back out there, didn't give up, got quicker and quicker. Now he's second. He's never been at this racetrack before.
Well, you know, Chase is a talented young man, Rusty. He's driven for me some as well, and I really like him. He's a young guy. He's really good. on the oval tracks, and really talented kid, just looking for an opportunity as well.
All right, checkered flag, so third fastest there for Scarello overall. And now there's Chase Miller, who is on his last lap. A little shaky there, getting into the bus stop.
He's digging, boy. He's up on that wheel. I'll tell you that right now. Go get her, Chase.
You know, I was just taking a look. I remember now, you know, he was a development driver for Ray Everham Motorsports. You know, Ray was the crew chief for Jeff Gordon. Well, he's using the whole racetrack up. He is getting aggressive on his qualifying run.
Now check out the right side of the graphic. Right now he is got some time in hand on the fastest lap in this session on this lap around the racetrack. So this could put him atop the board here.
Boy, he's really smoking that right rear. He's on it. He's up on the wheel. Go get it, Chase. I know he's having a good time. Like I said, young man did some starting parks last year and has done some this year. Just didn't get the opportunity to run as much as he'd like, and he's out there digging a little bit this morning.
Hey, look at there. He pops up to #1, so he is the very fastest. Good job by Chase Miller. Like I said, a guy's never been here before.
So that is how they rank within the group that just ran. First of the groups to complete their runs. Chase Miller is on top. Second group rolls out in just a minute. Round the bases with ESPN Sunday and Monday night for more Major League Baseball coverage. First, Sunday Night Baseball. It's the Red Sox ace Josh Beckett taking the mound against bitter rivals the Yankees and Alex Rodriguez. ESPN Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern time. Then on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball at 7 Eastern, Albert Pujols and the Cardinals take on the Cincinnati Reds. Both games also available on ESPN3.com. NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying here at Watkins Glen International. Second group is on the track. 6 cars. Kenny Wallace, the first of them. You see the list of drivers in group number 2. Right now, Chase Miller has fast time in the session after the first group has run.
We saw Kenny's car coming through that bus stop right there with the left front tire way in the ground, right way in the air. He's driving that thing right across the grass, really cutting that bus stop really tight.
Yeah, trying to get around the corner as quick as he can. You know, Kenny's looking to make his 475th start if he gets in today, which he will get in today. Big, great opportunity
That's
for
a lot
Kenny.
of starts for
That's a
Nationwide.
lot of starts. Kenny's been around a long time. He's done a great job in this series. Good racer, and you know, he's been running a lot of dirt stuff, Rusty. All right, the boys are telling me he's pretty darn good.
He's really good dirt racer. He loves doing that. I mean, if he's not watching the St. Louis baseball game, he's doing that.
New leader in qualifying. Kenny Wallace goes to the top of the board.
Boy, a big weight, too. I mean, he picked up almost a second over the guys before, over Chase Miller, so a good run.
Here's one of the guys you're not necessarily familiar with in NASCAR land. This is 25-year-old Kyle Kelly from California. Been running some of the NASCAR West Series races. Let's watch his qualifying run while we talk with the man who was fastest in the first session. Easy for me to say at 9 o'clock in the morning, huh, Vince?
Trevor Bayne has been fast, period. He's been on pole the last 3 races here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series. And I tell you what, 10th at Road America after starting 20th in your first road course race. So how much more prepared do you feel now that you're at your second road course race?
I feel way better, and I've got some experience with this track. You know, I ran the Camping World East Series here, finished 3rd. Man, if we could do that today, that'd be unbelievable. I'd be happy with a top 10, kind of like we did at Road America. Just stay on the track. That's what they keep preaching to me. Just, you know, if you stay on, be top 10. So that's the goal. You know, it would have been awesome to get 4 poles in a row, but the schedule didn't line up for us that way. It doesn't look like, because this road course, that's going to be a tough thing to accomplish. But hey, if we can qualify top 15, that'd be 5 positions better than Road America, and we'll take it.
Trevor Bayne, look for him coming up here shortly, Alan.
Yeah, Vince, nobody's ever won 4 poles in a row in the NASCAR Nationwide Series, and Trevor's not going to get his shot, as you heard him say there a minute ago. Watching Kyle Kelly come to the stripe here to complete his next lap. It'll bump him up to second quickest on the leaderboard, behind Morgan Shepherd, who on his first lap has gone to the top of the board.
I'll tell you what, Kyle Kelly had a good run, but it's good to see old Morgan come out there, put it on him. He's still getting her done. Good job, Morgan.
I saw Morgan yesterday. He'd just come off the racetrack, climbed out of this car after running a lap.
Yep.
They were putting it up on jack stands. Mike Dillon runs the Childress Racing team, was standing there. He said, "You going to go back out?" Morgan said, "That's a good race car." Nope.
You don't want to mess that up. Here's Morgan's other car, the number 89 car, Johnny Chapman. In that car, Johnny was pretty quick in the car yesterday. 37th fastest yesterday in practice, but felt the car was driving good enough, and that's all I needed to do with it.
Yeah, Johnny's had 8 starts in 010, and I like Johnny a lot. I know him real well. I watched him race 10 years ago back at Hickory Motor Speedway, where he won a lot of races, and comes, shows up. These guys work real hard. He's doing a good solid favor here for Morgan by taking good care of his race car, getting it in the show, and just a good opportunity for Johnny, and like I say, hard-working guys who put a lot into this effort every week.
Keeping an eye on Kyle Kelly here. Going to be about 0.6 of a second short of a pole lap here. Still second quickest to Morgan Shepherd.
Alan, I tell you, this Kyle Kelly, I mean, he was named Driver of the Year by the California Sports Car Club in 2002, so a good little road racer, a name we might not hear a lot about, but out in California, he's the man.
Yeah, ran the NASCAR K&N Pro Series race out in Sonoma and finished 8th. That was his first NASCAR race. And, like I say, good little road racer. Grew up driving go-karts back in the mid-'90s, so hopefully gets a good opportunity today to show what he can do, Rusty.
Staying on course.
He is staying. That's key, baby.
You see, he's not using those rumble strips too much. He's just staying on the course and having a good lap. Right now, he's second fastest. He's holding in second quick. Morgan Shepherd's P1 so far still, but Kelly's trying to upset him.
Boy, isn't it good to see Morgan Shepherd in that 21 car go out and lay down a lap like that. You know he's in good equipment. Morgan's a guy that's been around a long time, but when he's given the opportunity, he can still go out and knock a good number down.
So Morgan Shepherd, fastest so far. Kelly, we're watching here, second quickest. Kenny Wallace, third. Eric McClure has just pulled in. He set the 4th fastest time. And Mark Green rounds out the top 5. Still second quick there for Kelly on what would now be his 4th lap.
Kelly picked up a little bit in this very last lap he's running, Allen, but still not enough to get Shepherd. He was about 0.3 faster on his very last lap, heating the tires, more experience around the track, whatever you want to call it. That's what happens there. But so let's hear if they have fallen in place right here.
So that is the overall position on the right of the drivers who just ran in this group. Morgan Shepherd goes to the top of the board in NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying at Watkins Glen. Tony Raines among those who'll be on the track when we come back. NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying from Watkins Glen International, leading up to our race coverage this afternoon, 1:30 Eastern over on ESPN. The third of the groups is on the racetrack now. Tony Raines, one of the 6 drivers going. You're watching Tony head for the inner loop, the bus stop here. Also Brendan Gaughan, Taylor Malsom, Victor Gonzalez Jr., Brian Scott, Mike Wallace out in this group. Tony Raines looking to make his 250th NASCAR Nationwide Series start here later this afternoon.
Well, you used a lot of the course up right there, and they really widened that turn 5 we're looking at right now. We're going to see a lot of guys in the race getting way over there using that.
Now, Brendan Gaughan talked about liking this format of qualifying to have a rabbit to chase. So there he is. He's trying to chase Tony Raines and see if he can gain a little ground on him.
That's awful far ahead, though.
Yeah, the way they send him out, the way they space him out, I don't know how that really helped you, Annie, but I don't know.
Well, if you could catch a glimpse, you catch a glimpse, you almost, like some of these guys would play mind games themselves, saying, I can run that guy down, especially a talented guy like Brendan, who has his best finish of the season at Road America, which was 3rd. And
check this out.
Really fancies the road race.
He just lowered the fast time by 2 seconds.
Woo, wow. He is flying around there right now.
And while we watch Brendan go for another one, Jamie is with one of the drivers waiting to buckle in.
Justin Allgaier, and I know he's been looking at the sky and realizing the temperatures. Track's about 20 degrees cooler than it was yesterday in practice. How do you think that'll affect your run?
Well, I think that the Verizon Dodge was pretty good in practice yesterday. We weren't exactly where we wanted to be at, but I think the cooler temperatures are definitely going to help, and hopefully we'll get a little bit more grip, which is something that we kind of liked yesterday. So just looking forward to qualifying. We're not going to make many laps. Just try to get a decent starting spot and work our way through, and hopefully we can stay out of trouble today and get a good finish.
We want to keep this streak going. 3 top 10 finishes in the last 4 races. Alan?
All right, Jamie, thanks. Watching Taylor Malsom make his qualifying run, 3rd fastest on his first lap. He is about 0.7 off pole running pace at the moment on this lap.
Yeah, Taylor's another guy, another young guy, good young racer. We know him from the Truck Series running for Kyle Busch Motorsports. ran the first 7 events for Kyle this year and was doing a good job. Also an ARCA driver, ran some in 2008, finished 9th in the ARCA series as a development driver for your old buddy, Roger Penske.
Well, if you drive for Roger Penske, it means you're pretty good. I'll tell you that, because he doesn't put anybody in those cars.
That's right.
Taylor just bumped up to second.
Oh, man.
On the leaderboard. Back behind Taylor. Waiting on Brian Scott. There he is. Brian with the 3rd fastest time so far.
Brian Scott has been flat flying this year. That 3rd place he had not too long ago, I believe it was Chicago really stood out.
Yep.
Ran good there, and every week he's getting faster and faster. This is a kid I'm really watching as this year's progressing, Brad, because he gets faster every race.
You're exactly right. I've been taking notice of Brian Scott as well. You know, he's 12th right now on the points, and that 3rd place finish at Chicago was a good race for him. Good pit stops. He put himself in good position. Got a good finish. He finished, I think he finished 13th at Road America earlier this year, but this is a young man with a bright future.
Crew chief change for this team. A couple of weeks back, they appointed an interim crew chief who has since been appointed the permanent crew chief for the rest of this season. And Brian talking about how he'd never raced here at Watkins Glen before, so he was doing what a lot of these young kids do.
What's that?
The simulators.
Yeah, that's
running
incredible.
laps on the simulator.
That is incredible.
I tell you, I used to say bah humbug to all that stuff, you know, but evidently these guys are learning from it. These simulators got a lot better and better. I mean, every time I get the simulator, I just spin out the straightaway. I couldn't get them working, but these guys are learning a lot.
I get car sick when I get them.
It's because your body English doesn't work in that computer.
Yeah.
Just in front of Brian Scott is Victor Gonzalez Jr. That's the car you see him closing in on the track as they get the white flag and begin their last lap.
Now, you could use this as a rabbit. He's getting close enough to chase him hard, and I think this is probably pretty good for Brian Scott. He's either thinking one thing, hey, I can get my rhythm going, or else, hey, I might run up on this guy and screw up my lap.
Yeah. Well, we see Gonzalez Jr., he's put up a pretty good lap there. He's gotten himself up to the top 5. Victor's from Trujillo Alto, Puerto Rico. How about that?
I'm glad you said that.
There you go, baby.
Interesting thing with some of these drivers, you know, because the qualifying session was lined up in reverse order to the practice times yesterday, so we're going to see the times get faster and faster as the day goes. But I'll be interested to see that time for Brendan. That's pretty decent number.
Yeah.
It's going to end up being about a second off of what we expect the pole might be.
But he'll be in the mix.
But that wasn't bad.
Yeah.
These guys come into the final corners on the final lap of this qualifying session. And by the way, can I just clarify something?
Go ahead.
Are those rumble strips? Ripple strips, rumple strips.
Well, can I tell you something? I had that asked yesterday by somebody. And my whole entire career, I've called them ripple strips. And they said, what do you want me to call them?
I feel like I'm working with the 2 Yogi Berras of NASCAR here. So Brendan Gaughan sets the fast time in this 3rd session. Brian Scott comes up with the 2nd quickest lap. Taylor Malsum 3rd. Tony Raines 4th. And Victor Gonzalez Jr. 5th. Mike Wallace ends up 8th overall after his qualifying effort. So Brendan Gaughan to the top of the stack in NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying at Watkins Glen. Lots of cars still to go, though. Tonight on ESPN, it's the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. Legendary players Jerry Rice, Emmett Smith, John Randall, Ricky Jackson, Floyd Little, Russ Grimm, and Dick LeBeau will be inducted. Plus, ESPN's Chris Berman is the 2010 recipient of the Pete Rozelle Radio Television Award. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony on ESPN tonight at 7 Eastern. Watkins Glen, New York, and NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying ongoing. Group 4, 5 cars per group now for the rest of the session. First of them, Alex Kennedy, you're looking at 18 years old from New Mexico. Kid, a lot of folks think's got a really bright future.
Yeah, he's stepping in for Robert Richardson there. They gave him an opportunity to get in this race car, and you know, he made his debut at at Road America. Started 15th, finished 28th. So really a bright future for this young man.
Well, he was really hustling turn 5. You hear that, Brad? He come through there, and those rear tires were squalling on that thing. He didn't spin it, but I could see that thing really stepping out. He's laying the meat to that baby,
yes,
no doubt.
Sir.
Look out.
Man, finished 10th in the 09 NASCAR East Series points, so got a little bit of experience for such a young fella.
Second quickest lap on his first trip around. That last corner was a bit of an adventure there for him. Have you noticed that with the tire they brought here? You hear the tires squealing on these cars. Talk more about that in a minute. Jamie, who you got?
And Brendan Gaughan's sitting on the pole right now laughing. We're looking at some paint schemes out here. But Brendan, you're at the top of the board right now, and you didn't look too happy.
No, it's not going to stay there long, and I screwed the lap. On the faster of the 2 laps, I went through the bus stop, lost at least a half second. Just drove her in too deep and was at the mercy, let it sail a little bit. Wanted to do a 3rd lap and just got too free in 1, so I knew it wouldn't be any better. But our South Point Camry should be top 15, hopefully, with that, and we'll go race it. I think we got a Toyota that can win the race. Just got to put it there now.
Well, it's the same car he finished 3rd with at Road America. Pretty good run there, Alan.
Yeah, and we'll keep an eye on Brendan as the afternoon unfolds. Here's another guy we'll keep an eye on. And one of the cool things about this field we're going to see this afternoon at Watkins Glen, a lot of new faces in this field. Here's Nelson Piquet Jr., driving for Baker Curb Racing, his NASCAR Nationwide Series debut. He has run 4 NASCAR Camping World Truck Series races this year. By the way, with 3 top 10 finishes. Not bad.
No, not at all.
But getting a shot at the Nationwide Series car here. 25-year-old, of course, 2nd generation Formula One racer. His dad, Nelson, Formula One racer. Nelson Jr., Formula One racer. And at the moment, he's got 0.7 of a second in hand on the pole winning time.
I think the thing that's really most impressive about this young man is he has competed in 28 F1 races between 08 and 09. And he did have 1 podium finish, so he can drive a race car.
Well, there is no doubt about that. To run that, to get a podium finish in F1.
Yeah.
Another thing I like about this, he just jumped up to P1.
Yeah, he's real
fastest guy by a pretty good margin. But I started to say he has got a really good car. That 27 car is the one Greg Biffle drove this year.
That's right.
And it's a really fast hot rod.
Yep.
One of the series regulars, Michael Annett, on the clock, showing 10th fastest right now. He posted the 5th fastest lap on his first trip around. He had that tracker number jumping up and down there.
I was over talking with Michael and his guys yesterday, and the thing I've noticed about him is he is getting more and more consistent. He's really finding a comfort zone, and it shows every weekend, Rusty. This guy's an aggressive young race car driver. He's not afraid to mix it up, and he just keeps getting better and better and better each week.
Brad, this guy is you talk about Annett. I look at him just kind of the same way I look at Scott.
Yeah,
Brian
that's
Scott.
right.
Those 2 guys I've been watching, they keep, getting better and better. And this guy right here, Mike Bliss, we know he can get it done. I mean, he drove that 11 car last year in the Nationwide Series. A lot of top 5 finishes. Looks like they're looking for a sponsor, though.
Yeah, he is. And Mike Bliss is one guy, I raced against him. My team did back in the mid-90s in the truck series, and I followed him a long time. Mike Bliss is a tremendous race car driver. He just needs a great opportunity. You put him in a really good race car, you got a guy that's going to get you a top 5 finish and possibly a win.
Faster yet for Piquet Jr. Just lowered the pole time. 73.07 seconds at the moment.
He's letting that thing really hang out coming through the S's. You see that?
Yeah, that left front tire was finding a little bit of air there.
Okay, let's watch this coming down into the bus stop right now. This has been a corner that's really upset a lot of drivers.
You hear him getting down on that, getting in that gearbox, gearing that thing down. See that left front tire come off the ground? He is getting after it, boy. Woo.
Listen to those tires. Squalling. I can hear it inside the pit studio.
Those Goodyear Eagles are screaming, baby.
Isn't that something?
Why they make that noise, I have no idea. But sometimes Goodyear comes out with, and this is a new tire Goodyear's got here. Sometimes the way they design them, it'll make that noise. You can hear the tire squall.
I mean, he's almost 2 mile an hour faster than Brendan Gaughan.
You know what they're screaming for? They're screaming for grip. Hold on, baby. Hold on.
Those Eagles are trying to sink those claws into that asphalt, baby.
All right, not going to bump the time down any on this lap, but still, as he finishes his session, he's at the top of the board. Nelson Piquet Jr. Bumping Brendan Gaughan from the #1 spot. Mike Bliss off the pace, having finished his runs when we saw before, and so it looks like Joe Nemechek's already pulling in as well. So Piquet Jr. goes to the top of the stack.
Wow.
Alex Kennedy 3rd, and that goes up to 5th. Nemechek and Mike Bliss there you see falling in line. Mentioned Nelson Piquet Sr. started on the front row for a Formula One race here at Watkins Glen in 1979.
Wow, one of the greatest race car drivers in the world of all time. Wouldn't he be proud of his boy right now?
Nelson Jr. is at the top of the stack in NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying at Watkins Glen. Nelson Piquet Jr. climbing out of his car right now, leading the field in NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying. Our race coverage over on ESPN at 1:30 this afternoon, starting with NASCAR Countdown. NASCAR Now tomorrow. Get you ready for and wrap up the Watkins Glen Sprint Cup action. Morning show presented by 5 Hour Energy, 9 a.m. Eastern. The nighttime show, 11 Eastern, both on ESPN2. On the Sprint Cup side, qualifying's up next, 11 a.m. Eastern over on ESPN. Then our race coverage tomorrow is presented by GoDaddy.com. 1 Eastern ESPN. We start at noon with NASCAR Countdown. That's what's coming up. We're all over it this weekend from Watkins Glen. The 5th session on the racetrack in Nationwide Series qualifying, and the man who has been the dominator in qualifying the last 3 weeks, Trevor Bayne. 3 straight pole positions. 4th straight has never been done in the Nationwide Series before, but if you were with us earlier, you heard Trevor say it's not likely to be him on a road course today.
Yeah, he's really slinging the car around pretty hard, and he's trying to find that speed. You know, I was talking to Kevin Harvick last week about this young man, and he made the comment that I thought was real interesting. He says, you know, Trevor Bayne has something that a lot of people don't have. He's fast, and he's just got that knack to go fast. So now he's got to learn to put all the pieces together, and once he does, watch out. This young man's going to win a lot of races, Rusty.
Slots in sixth fastest on that first lap. A lot of folks think Marcos Ambrose could be the guy to win the pole today, Vince.
That's right. He certainly was good in practice yesterday. He's won this race the last 2 years. How good were you in practice yesterday? Are you guys going to possibly sit on the pole today?
Yeah, I was really happy with it. We had a couple of small issues there, which limited the laps that we could do. We didn't do a mock run, but I feel like I've got as good a car as I had here the last 2 years, which was good enough to get us to victory lane. But we've got Zippo on board this week, so there's added pressure. They sponsored the race and they sponsored our car. So I guess, you know, I got my work cut out for me today, but really excited. We put a good little program together, and I just want to qualify in the first couple of rows. If we can do that, I'll be happy.
Marcos Ambrose certainly going to be one that's going to be a threat today. Jamie Little?
And Nelson Piquet Jr., the top of the boards right now. Well, your overall impressions of your first Nationwide Series qualifying effort?
Yeah, no, it's obviously it's a road course, so it's a little bit more into my area, but still very different. I mean, first practice yesterday I was completely lost. I mean, I don't know if it was me, it was the car going wrong, if it was the track getting worse. I mean, I was still I'm still in such a deep, a big steep of learning curve, you know. So, but I mean, car is good for qualifying. We did a few changes from yesterday to today, and it seemed to help me a lot. So let's see. I mean, the track improved also, so I'm hoping to be at least in the top 10, but she's looking good until now.
Yesterday during your practice session, we saw Kurt Busch lean into your car talking to you. What was he saying?
Well, I sent him a text before practice trying to get a bit of help, and I think he was a bit busy dinner time, so he jumped in the car while practice just to see if everything was okay and trying to give me a little bit of a help, a few pointers around the track.
Helps to have friends on your side when everything's new. Great effort so far. That's Nelson Piquet Jr. Alan?
Still on the pole as this group takes their shots at him. This is Jason Leffler. He's up to second fastest, and you see exiting the S's and headed off onto the backstretch. He's got about 300ths of a second on Piquet's pole-sitting lap.
Yeah, he does. I tell you, Jason's had a tough season. 5 DNFs this year. He's 10th in the points. This is a young man who we've seen. He's a veteran of this series, heck of a race car driver, trying to get a little luck on his side. And if he does that, he'll put that bad boy up front.
You see it all go away, getting into the inner loop there.
Yeah,
there. Yep.
Really, a lot of ground he lost right there. But I keep hearing these tires. I mean, it's really a good indicator to me how loose these guys are really trying to drive these cars in qualifying and how hard they're really hustling.
I'll tell you what, for the sound of the tires to come over the top of the car noise, up through the microphones, and I know we've got great audio equipment all around the racetrack, but to hear those tires squealing like that?
Yeah, but the other thing too, Rusty, isn't it? I mean, when you hear those tires squealing and those cars being that loose, isn't that losing a little bit of time as well if it's not stuck?
Well, absolutely. If you hear the tire squalling, there's no speed there. I mean, that means the guy's out of the throttle, the cars are sliding, and I hear the sliding basically when they're off the throttle. It's not when they're on the throttle so much.
J.R. Fitzpatrick driving the Junior Motorsports 7 car is coming back in. Obviously, he has shut her down. He has run the 3rd fastest lap of the session so far. And also on track, Tony Ave, veteran road racer from Wisconsin. We saw him out at Road America in the first of the 3 road course races this season for the Nationwide Series. And here he is again.
Yeah, he finished 20th at Road America, and good little road racer Tony is.
Do you know this guy was a 1993 Pro Sprint World Snowmobile Champion?
Yeah.
Now he's in a stock car. That's
right.
a big change.
Tony has raced the Trans Am Series and that kind of road racing for many, many years, very successfully. And he is the last car of this group remaining on the track, coming to finish his run.
ran back in Montreal and finished 39th there. And is looking to make his first start here at Watkins Glen today.
And we'll post the 7th quickest lap of the session. So it is Nelson Piquet Jr. leading qualifying. The cars that just finished running now. You see Jason Leffler up to 2nd. Fitzpatrick 3rd. Not bad for Trevor Bayne 4th, but we got several cars still to run as qualifying continues at the Glen. The NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying in Watkins Glen. Here are the top 10 so far. Nelson Piquet Jr., Jason Leffler at the top of the stack as we work our way now toward the faster cars from yesterday's practice. And the next group out on the racetrack now, Ryan Newman, former Nationwide Series winner here at the Glen. One of the 5 drivers out in this one. McDowell, Wallace, Colin Brown, and Billy Johnson also in this group. Newman on the clocks for his first laps. Now, a lot of folks say, now, why would Ryan Newman run this race? Guy we don't normally think of as a road course racer. Well, first of all, he's won here in the Nationwide Series. And second of all, wouldn't you pick the races where you feel like reps help you? Didn't you talk about earlier rhythm being a great thing for a driver on a road course, right?
Yeah, very important. Rhythm is everything in the world. But, you know, one thing also, James Finch, who owns this car, he loves driving for James. He's a great car owner, a really good guy, been in this sport for a long time. Owns Phoenix Construction Company. That's the reason you see Phoenix on the side of that car. But, hey, this is a good car, and Ryan really gets it done in this car.
Ryan about half a second off of Piquet Jr.'s pole-winning time so far with this lap.
Well, he hung her out there pretty good. You know, top 10 finishes. He's had 3 of his 4 NASCAR, the nationwide races have been top 10 finishes this year as we look at Colin Brown. And, you know, Colin really struggled early in the year. It's well documented. We talked about he and Ricky Stenhouse driving for Jack Roush, and both of these guys had torn up some race cars. Well, he has really come around. He finished 7th at Gateway. He's had top 12 finishes in 6 of his last 8. So he's starting to get into a little bit of a rhythm. So it's good to see for this young man because he's a talented, talented young man.
Got some road course racing in his background. Again, 6/10 and growing off of the fastest lap in qualifying so far. Ryan Newman slotted in 4th with his lap, and Colin Brown slotting in 6th there as he begins another trip around this Watkins Glen course.
Well, he won the pole at Mexico City in only his 3rd start, if we remember that. So, yeah, young man knows how to go left and right around these racetracks. He's good at a road course.
Now, here's a new name in NASCAR Nationwide Series racing. Wow, did he fly through that corner?
He's hanging that thing out there. Billy Johnson runs a Grand Am Continental Tire Series out of Torrance. He's from Torrance, California, so he's also an instructor at Skip Barber.
Hey, it's pretty good if you're an instructor.
Right.
He's teaching these guys how to do this stuff.
And
so we're expecting a lot out of him.
Check out the time on the right. Minus means he's quicker than the fastest lap so far, Vince.
Visiting with Brad Keselowski. Brad checking out the video, too. He's taking a look at it. When you watch others go around this racetrack, what are you looking for?
Really just anything they're doing different. You know, fortunately, our car was really fast yesterday, so I feel like if we can just repeat what we did yesterday with our Dodge, we have a strong run. But, you know, you're always looking for something. There's a lot of great road course racers here, a lot of specialists that have a lot of unique tricks, so try to learn from them anytime we can.
He's the points leader, and he was 2nd fastest in practice yesterday. Jamie?
And Jason Leffler, P2 on the board. So yesterday, if you remember in practice, we followed your guys' issues. You had a fuel pickup problem the whole time, and apparently it looks like some ferries came and took care of that overnight, Jason.
Yeah, so it was hard work. The guys, we struggled all day through practice. The carburetor wouldn't run. I've never had that. I mean, I've had it, you know, make 1 or 2 runs, and you fix it and you go on. But for 2 hours, we worked on the Great Clips Camry, and motor wouldn't run going up the S's. The guys took the carburetor completely apart and put it just like the 32s, and it ran good. So I'm pretty pumped about that lap, figuring we didn't get much practice yesterday. And I think my car is solid, so stay out of trouble. We should have a pretty good day today.
Great thing about teammates, helping each other out to get 2nd on the board right now.
All right, Jamie, thanks. You saw Billy Johnson go to the top of the stack in qualifying. Michael McDowell going to slot in 5th there.
Which doesn't surprise me. Michael's a very good road racer. He has an extensive road racing background, and I've known Michael a long time. Talked to him yesterday. He had a really good race car, so he was excited about the opportunity today.
Colin Brown had a good lap until right there. You see, he lost that from the minus to the plus right in the last corner. It's going to put him to third quickest on the session.
Not too shabby, though. Out of 33 cars, he's put himself in good position to get a good starting spot and hopefully stay up front and cycle all day long, give himself a chance to win this race.
All right, he's done and going to bail. You saw Steve Wallace there, just pulled in as well. Steve with the 7th fastest lap in qualifying.
Steve was good all day yesterday. And as a matter of fact, when I was talking to Steve, and I told him, I said, you know, you're the most improved driver in this entire series this year. He's getting good, consistent finishes, doing a good job, putting that car in good positions. Steven needs a big pat on the back because he's done a great job this season.
All right, Johnson has shut her down, just missed the turn into the pit lane there. But Johnson has put himself atop the stack in qualifying. This young man is getting his first Nationwide Series start here. And only figured out about a month ago that he was going to do this. They went and tested at Road Atlanta.
Yeah.
The team very high on him. Jack Roush very high on him. And he is now the new leader in qualifying. Steve Wallace all done with his lap as we work our way through Nationwide Series qualifying at Watkins Glen. ESPN Major League Baseball coverage Sunday and Monday nights. On Sunday Night Baseball, it's a good one. The Red Sox and the Yankees. Josh Beckett on the mound for the Sox. Alice Rodriguez leading the Yankees offense. It's ESPN Sunday Night Baseball at 8 Eastern. Then on ESPN's Monday Night Baseball, Albert Pujols and the Cardinals take on the Reds at 7 Eastern. Both games also available on ESPN3.com. Being as we're in New York State this weekend, you can imagine that Sunday Night Baseball game going to get a lot of attention.
A-Rod hit 601, 602 coming up soon.
It is NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying on track, and now things really begin to get interesting. The qualifying order set in the reverse of Friday's practice time, so these final two groups we get to the fast cars from practice.
Yeah.
And a lot of star power. A lot of star power here.
The top 10 fastest from yesterday coming up right now. And we know Marcos Ambrose is one of the fastest.
Here's Marcos in the 47 car. We'll keep an eye on him. You heard his comments in the interview earlier. They had a couple of small problems yesterday that might have kept them from just laying out the number to be at the top of the practice board.
He's having some problems with the radiator. The car was overheating, so he didn't get to run a lot of laps. Hopefully got that fixed, and we'll see what happens.
Said he wanted to be in the first 2 rows.
Yeah.
And right now on a time that was faster than the pole coming up to the top of the hill, but has lost some time here down the backstretch. That is Billy Johnson on the right, the new pole sitter. Hanging out and seeing how long he's able to stay at the top of the stack in Nationwide Series qualifying.
Billy should be awful proud. He did a great job with that those laps he ran, that 5-minute segment, put himself in good position no matter what.
Boy, that was a great corner Marcos just had coming off of turn 5. You guys call him Marcos. He's Marcus, right?
Marcus, yeah.
Why is everybody call him Marcos?
Wow. It's kind of spelled. He had C-O-S, and everyone thinks it's Marcos.
Oh, here we go. Right there. Look at that, how much time he gained in that turn 6. And losing again in turn 7. This is going to be close.
I believe he's got it, though. I believe he's still go to P1 right off the bat. It's looking that way.
Done.
P1, 72.93, fastest lap so far today. And that's on the first lap. We've seen these guys picking up lap after lap because it's pretty cool here in Watkins Glen. The temperature is.
Joey Logano got a good lap going, and he tops Ambrose.
Wow.
Logano to the top of the stack. Boris said 15th on his first lap.
Boy, Joey Logano is really showing the talent. What a talented young man. We all know he is by coming out and running that lap, that 72.84. That is super quick.
Jacques Villeneuve 13th on his first lap.
Really surprised. I thought Boris said would be able to come out and lay down some really super laps and be in the mix, as well as Paul Menard, who's a pretty darn good road racer himself.
Check this out now. Ambrose back with a faster lap yet on the second trip around.
Well, you just got to wonder if they got these front ends taped down, Alan. Really taped down to get the money lap, get the first lap.
Interesting to know, like I say, the car yesterday, Ambrose's car was running hot, and they were really worried about the radiator, trying to get some fresh air to that thing.
This is going to be faster yet. Then after he crosses, we'll look back at Logano and see where he's at. You know, this could be fun. Ambrose back to number 1.
Ambrose says, take that, and take that by a big margin, too. Almost 0.6 of a second faster that second lap. He really got it done then.
Logano a couple tenths off on that lap. That'll leave him in second. It's funny, he ran a faster lap time on his second lap. Logano did, than he did the first one.
Yeah,
but Ambrose was just that, yeah.
Marcus was just so fast.
Yeah, really fast. But, Joey's had 4 poles, 12 top 10 finishes, and 13 starts this season. Another solid year for him.
Here's Paul Menard, 4th fastest.
Yeah, Paul Menard, a lot of people overlook this young man who's having a terrific year in both series. Really has come to life, put his name on the market, and has got a lot of talent on these road courses.
Was in the hunt at Road America till got tangled up in an incident. Villeneuve on his lap showing 3rd fastest, showing 2nd fastest.
Just a world-class talent. Formula One champion in '97, kart champion, Indy 500 winner. We know this cat can flat get it done.
We can see that almost 170 miles an hour into the bus stop.
Wow, man.
Back to Ambrose, does not lower the time on his 3rd lap. Or did he? Hang on, let me check the number here.
I think he did. He ran a little bit faster.
Just a touch faster,
lap.
yep.
My goodness. 170 mile an hour for Villeneuve through that bus stop. That's about the fastest Rusty took me around through there yesterday in that rental car.
Wow.
White flag here. White flag.
Villeneuve down.
Up to 3rd, Villeneuve.
Wow. World-class talent.
Really picked up in his 3rd lap. And Menard, another good road racer.
Yes, he is. Good job with those guys. Wow.
Up to
4th.
Good job, Paul.
These guys keep getting faster and faster with every turn of the wheel.
Boy, I tell you, after this group, the next group goes, how fast will they be?
Everybody's pulled off in this group now. So, new leader in qualifying. In fact, entire new top 4.
Wow.
Of the 5 cars that ran in that group.
All right, I'm out of breath now.
Check that out.
Will it cycle through again, AB? What do you think?
Got 1 group to go. It's going to be fun seeing how these times hold up. Stay tuned. The climax of qualifying is next. New leaders in NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying at Watkins Glen, the top 4 in the group that just finished running. Ambrose, Logano, Villeneuve, and Paul Menard going to the top of the stack, kicking Billy Johnson down to 5th with 1 group left to run. Jamie?
And Marcus Ambrose gets fastest on his 3rd and final lap. Pretty impressive run there. But what did you tell me when you got out of the car?
I forget, but,
Taking this place with you, buttoning it up and taking it on the road with you?
If I could actually bottle this place and take it with me everywhere I go, I'd be laughing. But this track's been good to me. This car's great. We've got Zippo on board. Not only are they naming right sponsor, they're sponsoring my car, so there's a lot of pressure. I think that lap might get beaten, but I just wanted to start somewhere near the front, and first couple of rows I'd be happy with. Got a great car. This is a part-time effort. This car has not seen the light of day since this race last year, so really proud of my guys. Got Scott Zipadelli helping us out this weekend, just keeping the whole thing running over. Got Frank Kerr switching from Cup to Nationwide. It's just a great combination.
Great team behind you. Marcus Ambrose, P1 right now. Alan?
All right, thanks, Jamie. So the fastest 5 from yesterday's practice are on the track now in the final group. Carl Edwards, quickest in practice yesterday, has won the last 2 road course races in the Nationwide Series and is on the track now. Right now, you see he's about 3/10 off of Ambrose's time. We'll keep an eye on that ticker. Also on the track, Brad Keselowski, Ron Fellows, Kyle Busch, Kevin Harvick.
Well, I'll tell you, we've got some guys that can flat get it done. I'll tell you, Kevin Harvick was the guy yesterday, Rusty. He was blistering fast, backed off a little bit. I went down and talked to him. He thinks he's got a good shot at winning this race today, and he believes he can sit on the pole.
Well, I'll tell you, the guy that I saw yesterday looked really good to me was Brad Keselowski.
Yeah.
He was flying
Really
up through
smooth.
those S's, really fast, smooth, like you said, a lot of acceleration. Car looked really good. But this guy right here, Carl Edwards, I mean, he could be the road racing king right now.
Yeah, he was quickest yesterday all day long.
We talk about Marcus a lot,
Yeah,
but he's won the last 2
Oh,
nationwide
yeah.
races.
Carl is the real deal on the road course.
Edwards 3rd fastest on his 1st lap. Remember, Ambrose went faster on his 2nd and his 3rd laps. Here is Brad Keselowski coming through. You see he's a couple of seconds off the pole pace. So maybe he's just getting it warmed up and ready to make a run at it this lap. We'll see.
You know, Rusty, do you have to make all your time through the turns, or can that horsepower help you on these straightaways? Can you make it up?
Well, that long straightaway, Brad, where we saw 170 mile an hour run going to the bus stop, that takes a lot of power to get up to those speeds. So horsepower is really important, but really at a road course, torque is more important than anything. Torque and acceleration to pull you off those corners.
Here's Ron Fellows, 21st fastest on his 1st lap. And again, I'll throw the point out there. These guys were fastest in practice. Are we seeing these guys just take a get the tires warm lap before they let it rip?
I believe so. I think we're going to get ready to see these numbers jump up dramatically as they come back around on their second runs. I think they're all just getting those tires nice and hot and sticky, and then they're going to throw the coal to it, so to speak.
In my mind, that's the key, what you just said, Brad, getting some temperature in the tires so you get the grip.
Yeah.
Because like I said earlier, I'll say it again, it's kind of cool outside.
Yeah, it is.
And it's going to take a couple laps to get the temperature where we need it.
Edwards' second lap was slower than his first, so he still sits in third position.
Harvick jumped up there.
Kevin Harvick is fourth with his first lap.
Yep.
Kyle Busch 10th. Now Brad Keselowski just 16th on his second lap, so maybe it wasn't just
30 right now.
just trying to catch whatever that radio transmission was. Carl Edwards, you see there, he was about a half a tenth off coming into the inner loop. And now that clock's running the other way.
Yeah, right there. As he came off the corner, you see the four-wheel drift. Yeah. Saw it in the last corner. You saw it there. He is driving the salt out of that thing, trying to get those spots.
That car was really loose coming into the bus stop. I saw it dancing around. And then turn 5, Brad, really had that tail hung out.
Yep.
And that speed right there. He's really lost a lot of
Rubbing
speed.
that speed off.
Remember, Rusty, you talked about, too, about taping them up and temperature and all that. That was Carl telling his team the engine temperature was 230 degrees.
Okay.
Already.
I guess.
Getting warm.
You know.
Not getting enough air to that radiator. It's getting hot.
235.
All right, first lap was still the quickest for Carl. And sounds to me like that's it.
Keep an eye on Kevin Harvick. I'm telling you.
He missed it.
Yeah, keep an eye on Kevin
no,
Harvick.
he didn't. Here we go.
Here's Kevin.
Keep an eye on him.
Kevin's coming up on the back of Kyle Busch.
Yeah.
Being told Kyle Busch went through the inner loop in front of him, so Kyle must be on kind of a...
His own mission.
Ran through it poorly, not ran through it.
Okay.
Let me clarify that. So he's on a regroup. Let's see how Kevin does here. 2/10 off the pole right now. Kyle Busch 5th. Kevin Harvick 3rd. That lap a little bit quicker for Kevin than his first lap was. Kyle on the bailout. And here's Ron Fellows right now sitting down in 12th in line. You see tracking 7th fastest for the moment.
And guys, Brad Keselowski just jumped up to 8th quick. So he's really picked it up from that first lap he went out.
Brad Keselowski's our point leader by about 230 points, 231 to be exact, over Carl Edwards, having a great year. 4 poles, 3 wins.
Sorry, but those squealing tires still get my attention every time I hear it.
Well, I got one thing figured out. All 43 cars have squalled the tires.
Yeah.
So they're all loose, right?
Well, I'm thinking Ambrose is looking pretty good here, Big Brad.
I'll tell you, that's a pretty stout run. About 2/10 over Logano, so that's pretty fast.
Yep, that's not going to get it for Fellows. Checkered flag. And Ron Fellows is going to wind up 12th fastest.
Not bad, not bad. Ron's a great road racer, as we all know. He will march his way up through that field.
Let's go for it. I made it all the way to the inner loop. It got loose. Good job.
All right, the thoughts from Kevin Harvick there, who winds up 3rd quickest overall. So, new track record
Well, I'll tell you.
for Marcus Ambrose. The old track record held by Kevin Harvick was a 72.296 second lap, and Ambrose shaves a couple of tenths off of that. He's won this race the last 2 years, did not start on the pole for either one of those.
Yeah.
See a lot of nationwide regulars that run in the Nationwide Series. Joey Logano, Harvick, Edwards, Busch, Menard, Keselowski up there.
And then we can recognize some of the studs who've come over to run from Road Racing Series, like Piquet Jr., Billy Johnson, Jacques Villeneuve. What a great run for him. Great starting spot. It'll be interesting to watch these guys mix it up.
So Ambrose on the pole. We'll show you the whole starting lineup for this afternoon's race and continue our coverage of qualifying from the Glen in just a minute. The NASCAR Nationwide Series starting field for this afternoon's race at Watkins Glen International has been set. Our race coverage starting with NASCAR Countdown, 1:30 Eastern. And there is the car that will lead the field to the green. Marcus Ambrose just set the fastest lap and set a new track record for nationwide cars here at the Glen. We'll talk to Marcus in just a minute. Joey Logano and Kevin Harvick ran identical times to the thousandth of a second for second place. The tiebreaker owner points. Logano will start on the outside of the front row for this one. Let's hear from Joey.
Also a time, by the way, under the track record from a year ago. So pretty good qualifying effort. And you got out and you said, I'm not really a road course guy, so it's even better. What made it so good for you today?
I got a really good game stop Toyota. I was pretty happy with it in practice, and it drove pretty good. So I was pretty pumped up to be outside front row here. If Ambrose didn't decide to run the race, I'd be in real good shape. But yeah, it is what it is. I'm just pretty pumped up that we ran pretty good, and it brings your confidence level up, at a place like this. So I'm pumped up about the race coming up.
How would you describe this race course to somebody maybe who's never been here, only seen an oval race, from a driver's perspective and the challenges it creates?
There's a lot of things going on. Turn one's definitely a very tough corner. As far as wanting a wheel hop, you're downhill. A lot of things there. The bus stop's very tricky, obviously. So there's a lot of things going on. Qualifying for 3 laps, that was crazy. You got to hold your breath for 3 laps instead of 1. So I was huffing and puffing by the time I came in.
Great job by Joey Logano, and still smiling. He'll start on the front row later today.
All right, Vince, thanks. The presentation going on for Marcus Ambrose. Got to have that bucket hat as well.
That's important.
The Aussie bucket hat. These road course races have been kind of a love-hate affair for Marcus Ambrose in the last couple of years. Marcus Ambrose in search of his first career NASCAR win.
And indeed, Gordon will hit Ambrose.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Marcus Ambrose has checked out on this field by 8 seconds.
Your leader having trouble.
He goes too fast into pit lane, has to serve a pass-through penalty.
Go, hard. Marcus Ambrose goes to victory lane for the first time in his career at Watkins Glen.
Ambrose trying to make this pass.
Oh, and he's going the short route for the 2nd year in a row. Marcus wins.
You are the man. You are the man.
Looks to the inside of the hairpin. He's going for the lead on Ambrose. Carl Edwards gets around him. Marcus makes one mistake all day, and it's going to cost him the win.
Well, Montreal has been maddening, but Watkins Glen has been wonderful for Marcus Ambrose. He's going to start on the pole as he goes for a 3rd straight win at this track in the Nationwide Series. Jamie?
And it's his first ever pole here in the NASCAR Nationwide Series at Watkins Glen. You didn't do a mock qualifying run yesterday, so how surprised are you that you actually got to the top?
Well, we didn't know what we had really after practice, but we put our best foot forward and came through. But if I'm going to do a hat show, I thought I'd bring the fishing hat first. I want to put that one on, but then we've got to thank Zippo, because not only do they sponsor this event and they've just renewed for 3 years, they're actually sponsoring my car too. So there's a bit of added pressure there. I've got 2 gold Zippos. I want to make it 3 if I can.
Let's talk about the race now. Obviously, you didn't do a qualifying run yesterday. You guys focused on race setup. How good is this race car?
Yeah, it wasn't really by choice. We would have liked to have done a mock run, but between cup practice and Nationwide, we didn't have time. We had a few issues on the Nationwide car. My crew chief, Frankie Kerr, came across and helped out on Nationwide, so we had to refocus on cup and didn't get a chance to run at the end of Nationwide practice to get it right. But just a great little crew we got going. Scott Zippodelli, he's had a tough run in the Nationwide Series last year or so, and he's come on board, helped us out. We've got to thank him very much for his assistance, and just really proud of what we got. Looking forward to the race. Feel like we've got something for him.
This is a car that Scott Zippodelli actually built and you won with here last year. How much confidence does that give you going into today's race?
Yeah, a lot. We got a great little crew. We're a part-time effort for us to get the pole today, considering this car has not seen the light of day since this race last year when I actually crashed it doing donuts in Victory Lane. We've come a long way. Really proud of my guys.
Congratulations. Marcus Ambrose brings home his first pole here at Watkins Glen. Now he'll move on over and qualify in Cup. Vince?
With the guy who was on pole for this event last year, also a former winner here at Watkins Glen, and even though officially 3rd fastest, had the same exact time as Joey with the 2nd speed, but you're happy with what you had out there and encouraged for what you've got for the race?
Yeah, our Jimmy John Chevrolet has been really good since we've started, and the car just seems to get faster and faster as we run lap after lap. So really excited about the race. Felt like I should try to go for it on that last lap there, and wound up, I made it into the inner loop deeper than I had, and as soon as I let off the brake, it got sideways. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoy road racing and look forward to a fun day.
I know Ernie Cope, your crew chief's excited about this car. It's a new car. Where did you feel that it was better from a year ago?
Well, I feel like just, some of the things that we've done to make the car a little bit better itself just paid off for us as the laps went on. We don't have as much fall off as we did last year. It seems like the car actually gets a little bit faster and then maintains a lot better.
They've made some changes with this track, some extra pavement in some of the runoff areas and so forth. Are you able to use that to your advantage?
I hadn't used any of it yet, but I know I know in our strategy is going to plan for a lot less, or probably a few less caution laps than what we've had before, just because the sand is so far away. I know coming out of the carousel back there, you can go over the curb and use the asphalt. I don't necessarily think that's faster, but you can get out there and not get in the grass and spin out and do the things that you did with the grass and things there before.
Kevin Harvick, he'll start third later today.
Okay, Vince, thanks. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for this afternoon's NASCAR Nationwide Series race. It'll be Ambrose, Logano, Harvick, Edwards in the first 2 rows. By the way, the winner of this race has generally come from those first 2 rows. 7 of the last 9, Watkins, Glen. Wow. So keep an eye on those 4 guys. Look farther back. There's old Kyle Busch. Can't count him out, even if he's in row 3.
All the way back in row 3. Look at these guys. There's some good young guys. Steve Wallace got a good starting spot there. J.R. Fitzpatrick, he's real excited in row 7 there about his opportunity, and the veteran Ron Fellows, who's a threat anytime you go left and right.
Yeah, don't forget Fellows. He's
exactly
solid
right.
every time he comes road racing.
Yeah. Bet he's kind of disappointed at that row 6 qualifying effort, though. Brendan Gaughan, one of the drivers out early, wound up in row number 11.
Guys I'm looking at, look at Michael Annett and Brian Scott. We talked earlier in the show about those are 2 guys, up-and-comers, that I'm looking at personally. I think they're really good drivers.
Victor Gonzalez Jr. all the way back in row 15, but he has a lot of road race experience. Maybe strategy can play out through today and give this guy a chance to get back in that top 10.
And down through row number 20, there's Morgan Shepherd back in the 16th row. And some of the drivers who were out very early in this qualifying session and how it shook out. And the final few starters, Johnny Chapman, Dan Brody, and Matt Carter for this race. All right, so let's go back to the top of this starting field. You saw Marcus Ambrose, right? He wins the pole, trying to win this race for a 3rd straight year. You heard Joey Logano's comments. You heard Kevin Harvick's comments. Carl Edwards has won the last 2 straight Nationwide Series road course races, but despite being fastest in practice, he's only able to be 4th quickest so far. Will Ambrose be in any of these guys' heads for this race?
Absolutely. He's going to be in their heads a lot. I mean, everybody knows when they come here, Marcus Ambrose is the guy to beat. I mean, he's the guy that's got the bullseye on top of his head because he's been beating up in these guys road course racing year after year and race after race. So, Brad, I got to say that your guy is the guy that everybody's looking at.
Well, there is a lot of expectations when it comes to Marcus because of his ability. But I'm looking at Carl Edwards. He's been the guy who has stepped up and kind of punched us in the mouth as far as these road course races are concerned and dominated at times on these road courses. So I think Carl Edwards is the guy you got to keep an eye on throughout the day as strategy plays out.
Alan, one thing that Kevin Harvick just said really got my attention. He said, our race strategy, we're changing our strategy because of this racetrack. I mean, folks, before, these guys would get stuck in the gravel traps, caution flags would come out forever, and they would put that in their strategy about how many laps they could run under caution to really alternate their fuel strategy. And fuel strategy is everything in the world here, let's face it.
Yeah. Let me tell you.
I think because of this track
I agree with you. It's not just a lock, it's going to be Ambrose. I was there with Kevin yesterday, and I was teasing him because Kevin came up, and Kevin started in road racing, and he wants to win, again, on these road courses really bad. And I was with Ernie Cope, his crew chief, when he got out of the car, and we both said at the same time, I said, man, you are blazing fast. He says, we got a good race car. He wants to win today, and he wants to win tomorrow. Kevin wants to make the sweep.
He wants to make the sweep, but he's going to have to not be so aggressive on fuel strategy because I think they're going to have to really, be a little more conservative this year in the fuel mileage.
It's going to be interesting to see how that plays out because you got to beat Ambrose, but Ambrose's strategy's got to be right too.
Oh yeah,
because you can
no
get
doubt about it.
Out of position to win this race. It will be really interesting to see how it unfolds later on this afternoon. Now, still to come, NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying. It starts at the top of the hour. The cars are all lined up and ready to go. Unlike the nationwide qualifying, that's going to be single car qualifying. 1 lap, get it right, 7 turns and a bus stop, don't miss a shift, don't miss your braking point and all the rest, and track position is everything for the start. So we'll see how that pressure cooker run plays at the top of the hour, and we're back to Watkins Glen in just a minute. Beautiful Saturday in Watkins, Glen, New York, Finger Lakes region of the state, where NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying has just concluded. The race coverage begins at 1:30 Eastern over on ESPN, preceded by NASCAR Sprint Cup Series qualifying that starts at the top of the hour. Well, whenever you come to Watkins Glen and Ron Fellows' name is on the entry list, you got to keep an eye on him. Mentioned that just a minute ago. Ron has won 3 of these NASCAR Nationwide Series races at this racetrack. 3 of 5 NASCAR wins he has here. And let's just hear from Ron Fellows now. Got to be a little disappointed with the qualifying, Vince.
I think so, and he's, as you mentioned, Alan, had a lot of success here, but 12th isn't what you were expecting, I don't think, in qualifying. We weren't expecting that, so what gives?
I don't know. That's essentially what we did a mock qualifier last night, and that's essentially what we got. So it's disappointing, but the car handles really well, and I told Tony Sr. at Pops that. Car's good. I'm just not sure why we just don't have the speed. But same thing happened at Road America. But you know, I think we'll race just fine.
What's the key here as you start from that 12th spot to having the kind of finish that you are satisfied with at the end of the day?
Yeah, we've got you know, we got to do what we did at Road America, which is stay out of trouble. The aero of the cars is even more critical here than at Road America with the S's and turn 5. So we got to keep fenders straight and the hood not pushed in, and make sure and see where we're at with the last 10 laps.
Having fun working with this group? I know you don't race as much anymore as you used to.
Yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I thank Greg Sachs for the opportunity with Grand Touring Vodka and obviously Dale Jr. and Rick Hendrick. But yeah, well, the first time at Road America, when somebody said Pops, who was answering? It was me or Tony Sr.?
Always good to see Ron Fellows at the racetrack. Certainly going to be one of the favorites later today. Alan?
All right, Vince, thanks. Driving that 88 car. And again, coming from a little deeper in the field than we might have expected to see Ron. Let's go back downstairs to Jamie. Who you got, Jamie?
Billy Johnson, a new face in the field. California man, nonetheless. And making your Nationwide Series debut here. Nice qualifying effort, 9th. You went out there with a lot of these road course ringers, and we joked and we said he's the fastest of the non-F1 rookies out in the field. Take us through your run and what it was like for you in a Nationwide car.
It was awesome. First of all, in practice, we tried a bunch of different setup changes. Yesterday was only my second day in these cars ever, so we tried a lot of different things to get me more familiar with what these changes do to the car, and got to hand it to the number 6 City Financial Roush Racing guys. They gave me a really good car for qualifying. It felt the best it's ever been, and first 2 laps were pretty good, and just made a few little mistakes here and there, but there's more time in the car. Like, I wasn't hitting everything perfectly, so that makes me feel a lot better looking forward to the race, that there's some stuff I can work on, and I'm really comfortable in the car and happy with how the car was working.
Now, normally you co-drive a Ford Mustang with Jack Roush Jr. This is a totally different ball game, though, over here. Are you comfortable with what's to come today and all these pit stops? And, of course, these guys are pitting backwards here.
Yeah, for me being a road racer and turning right a lot, there's a lot of comfort there, as well as the Mustang that we run is a front engine V8 solid rear axle car that weighs about the same, so that transition wasn't too bad. These cars have more power and more downforce, so there's a lot of differences in also how these cars drive, but yeah, it felt really good right off the bat, and these guys gave me a really good car, so I'm looking forward to the race and seeing how we do.
Great effort on your part. And yeah, you see all the smoke here. They're cooking up a big lunch over here, getting ready to have some fun before we go racing, Alan.
9th fastest qualifying effort for Billy Johnson, and one of the many new faces you'll see in new places. If you follow the NASCAR Nationwide Series throughout the season week to week, you're going to see a lot of different names in the lineup, as always, when we come to Watkins Glen, maybe even a few more than usual here today. Let's talk about the racetrack now, changing from qualifying mode to race mode. From a driver's perspective, Rusty, what happens for these guys now while they wait out these next couple hours before they go racing?
Well, right now, they've had a lot of practice yesterday to get used to all that Adeline. They understand the changes at the track right now and what they're up against. But the cars are going to handle a little bit different. They're going to be a little bit slower. They're probably not going to turn into the corner as much because it tapes off the grill right now. So the cars are going to handle a little bit different. But the good guys know what's coming. They know what to expect, and it won't be a big change.
Yeah, what the race teams will do is they'll go back. Your crew chief and your car chief and your driver will all sit down. They'll reiterate their strategies, and they want to get that driver thinking about just what Rusty was talking about. The track, as the temperature starts to come up, it's going to get a little bit slower. Don't abuse the race car. Don't abuse the brakes. Make sure you stay in sequence on pit stops and those types of things. So at the end of the day, you got a chance to go get that checkered flag.
Get some lunch in the meantime.
Got to get lunch. That's the most important thing.
I knew you'd have that on your mind. The teams, there are very few things they're allowed to do to the cars. They're impounded from now till the start of the race. But to give us a briefer on what things they are allowed to do, we'll go to our Craftsman Tech Garage and Tim Brewer. Tim?
Thanks, Alan. Impound race means whatever you qualify with, that's what you have to start the race with as far as shock absorbers, springs, camber settings, what have you. But NASCAR does allow you to remove tape on the nose of the car to get a little bit of air into the engine to cool it. You're also going to open the brake ducts up because you want that downforce to run fast. Another thing you want to do, you want to jack these air pressure tires. It's got to be up because you got to put down that quick lap and to put the air pressure in the tires, you get instant grip. But in the race, you want to come off that air pressure, making sure you get a lot of grip and the laps stay consistent. Another thing, this valve right here, we can bypass the oil cooler qualifying, so we put hot oil directly to the engine, gives us a little bit more power. But we're going to adjust this valve to let the oil flow through the engine to make sure it stays cool during the race. Another thing we're going to do, might want to change the weight distribution, the wedge just a little bit, because some of the high-speed corners, you want to get in there real good, so you might want to back that wedge up just a little bit. Another thing, traction, the track bar going down over here. We want to run that fast lap, but NASCAR will allow us to adjust that track bar, putting the center of gravity lower in the rear of the car, making sure that we get traction off the corner. But that's some of the things that NASCAR allows us to do before the event.
Each team allowed to do that basically one at a time with an official supervision, and that process ongoing right now before they put them in final position on the grid, and we turn them loose racing a little later on at the Glen today. Sprint Cup qualifying still to come. Don't go away. Tonight, ESPN delivers the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. Legendary players Jerry Rice, Emmitt Smith, John Randall, Ricky Jackson, Floyd Little, Russ Grimm, and Dick LeBeau will be inducted. Plus, ESPN's Chris Berman will be the 2010 recipient of the Pete Rozelle Radio Television Award. It's the Pro Football Hall of Fame enshrinement ceremony. ESPN tonight at 7 Eastern. Should be a lot of fun. As we get set to go in Watkins Glen for Sprint Cup Series qualifying top of the hour, continuing to look back on the Nationwide Series session just concluded. Mentioned different names in the field. Jacques Villeneuve there, pictured with his dad Gilles, the winner of the 1979 Formula One Grand Prix of the United States at this racetrack. Jacques is going to make his Watkins Glen debut in the Nationwide race this afternoon, Vince.
That's right, with his dad having won here in '79 and this being your first time here, what's been your general impression of Watkins Glen and the course so far?
Oh, it's been great fun. The atmosphere is racing. You know that you're in a racing place. And the track is fun to drive. It's a little short, not many corners, but the corners are fun to drive.
It's been your first time here in a Nationwide Series car. You've been in a Nationwide Series car before, but what have you guys been able to get accomplished in one day of practice and a few laps of qualifying that lead you to believe you've got a good car for the race?
Well, we weren't happy with the car yesterday, so we made some changes for qualifying. We went a little bit too far for qualifying. It was loose most corners, but that should actually be good for the race, so we're quite excited.
Have a car that you feel like you can win with?
There's 3 cars in front that are really, really fast, so those ones will be tough to get to, but anything after that is doable, yeah.
Great to see Jacques Villeneuve in this garage, and he'll be in the Montreal field as well coming up shortly. Jamie Little?
And Colin Brown standing here talking. What's it like for you as a young driver racing with guys like Jacques Villeneuve, who's a Formula One champion?
Well, it's neat. You know, we were just talking about that. It's cool to be racing against those kind of guys. You know, you get the Cup drivers, the Formula One drivers. You get a mix of, like, everybody racing in this series, and it's really neat for a young driver to be able to race against those guys and just sit there and listen to their stories. They got some cool stories.
Now, you qualified 11th. This is your first time in a Nationwide Series car here. You raced the Daytona prototype here a few years back. Does that help you or hurt you here?
Well, I think it hurt me, really. I'm so used to braking so late with those cars and the way those cars handle. It's completely different when you drive one of these Nationwide cars, and certainly that's something we worked on yesterday, was just trying to adapt with this number 16 Conway Freight Ford Fusion. I mean, so many things are different, and, you know, we had to make quite a few changes yesterday. My guys did a really good job working on this car, and hopefully we'll have a good run today. We got a really cool special hood on our car with all 92 names of the National Truck Driving Championship contenders from Conway Freight that are going to the National Championship this year. So excited about that. Hopefully we can keep those names nice and clean and roll that thing into victory lane.
And Colin Brown, very talented road course racer. They'd like to turn their luck around here, Alan.
Sure would. He will start in the 11th spot this afternoon, Jamie, as he takes on this Watkins Glen course. Now, this racetrack, Jacques Villeneuve said it's a racing atmosphere. Well, they've been racing on this property since 1956. The original course, the sports car Formula One course, if you will, 3.4 miles around. When NASCAR came here in 1986, they thought it'd be more suited for stock cars if they kind of made a little cut through and made the short course, which is 2.45 miles around. Now, NASCAR calls it a 7-turn course plus the inner loop, or the bus stop, or the chicane.
I'm from Western North Carolina, and I'm not real smart, but I count 11 turns on this racetrack. But we're going to stick with what NASCAR says. I like that.
There you go. You're probably better off there. Now, a few critical places on this track to watch for action in this afternoon's race, as well as tomorrow's Sprint Cup race. First of all, turn 1. Now, this corner is deceivingly downhill. The camera angle doesn't do it justice as to how steeply downhill you're going, by the way, while you're trying to brake and turn right.
You are going downhill big time, and what happens because of that, you really carry a lot of speed getting to turn 1, and it is the #1 passing zone. But Alan, also during the race, when the brakes start to wear, you're going to hear a lot of wheel hop. That dreaded term we talk about all the time. The drivers hate it. You'll bounce it right off the racetrack when you get wheel hop, and that's what happens primarily into turn 1.
Now, a lot of talk about safety after Elliott Sadler's terrible crash at Pocono last week. Look at the difference as Jimmy Johnson, you had to know you were going to see that sometime this weekend, as Jimmy Johnson goes through that section of track and across the gravel traps and into the styrofoam barriers in a nationwide race, and you look at that corner now at Watkins Glen. How much farther back the barrier is, the pavement runoff area for the drivers now. And now, guys have a problem there. They pretty much gather it up and drive out the other side of the corner.
Got a tremendous amount of room now that they can run off the racetrack, as you can see all the black marks there, and gather themselves back up. The other thing about coming down that corner and coming off that hill, it is a little bit off camber. So it makes it really, really difficult to get yourself wound up and slowed up enough to get around that corner on balance.
Now, at the end of the back straightaway, what's called the bus stop, the chicane, the inner loop, that didn't used to be there. Cars used to go straight down that straightaway off into the corner. That was added.
Some of them still do.
Yeah. That was added as a safety measure after a crash that claimed the life of J.D. McDuffie here in one of the NASCAR races. And even that section of the track has been changed for this race, added safety measure. That pavement all the way over on the left used to be gravel trap. Now it's made pavement, and you could see some bold passes like this one at the end of last year's race.
Yeah, you see Marcus Ambrose and Kyle Busch, and he roughs them up, gets in there, going in the inner loop. Kyle's got to come to a stop. That's the rule. Marcus goes on and wins the race.
Gave him nowhere to go. A little bit more room there now, though.
And, Rusty, you were talking about how that added pavement to the right, done in the name of safety and allowing the drivers, again, to recover from a problem and drive on instead of getting stuck in the gravel trap, might change the way a driver approaches that corner.
Yeah, well, let's back up a little bit. As you enter, on the right-hand side, as you enter the bus stop, Alan, there used to be a big rumble strip there, a real tall one, almost 8 inches tall. Now it's much, much softer, much lower, and the drivers are really cutting that corner right there a lot more than they did last year, and because of that, they're carrying more speed, and we're seeing more guys overcharge that corner, get loose, and spinning, and entering that corner, and now also exiting. But if you do spin, instead of being stuck in that gravel, now you can change gears, get that baby down to first, and continue on.
Safer barrier added, by the way, on the back side of that barrier you're looking at where the catch fencing is. Now, when you exit that corner, you get through the outer loop or turn number 5. And remember Sam Hornish's big wreck entering that, exiting that corner last year, where he got forced off the side of the track, slammed into a barrier, which threw him back across the racetrack and right in the way of oncoming traffic.
Into the grass. Look at this.
Didn't expect that when you saw him go off track. Jeff Gordon, Jeff Burton, just tremendous impacts and a catastrophic crash. Just unbelievable. Look at the carnage after that wreck.
So in reaction to that, track officials in NASCAR redesigning that section of the course. And now as you look at that corner, that area where Hornish got forced off, drivers left exiting turn 5 is now all paved. The barrier's been realigned, and there's an added safer barrier in front of that for a driver that might get forced off there and get into a bad situation.
We will see a lot of people here today as the race gets going, getting up over those rumble strips and racing hard down to that grass patch. It's going to be interesting because during practice, practice, they were getting off and throwing up a lot of dust and dirt at the end of that patch. So we'll see some good hard-nosed racing right here today.
I believe they're going to carry more speed also, Brad, off of turn 5 right there, because they can let the car drift out more, which is going to bring us down into turn 6. And into turn 6 right here, guys, they've done a lot of pavement work also.
What used to be a long gravel trap for safety, that was very much needed in that corner, evidenced by last year's Sprint Cup race. Dale Earnhardt Jr. coming into that corner, losing the brakes on his car, having another car there to help cushion the blow, but then slamming through that gravel trap and into the barrier.
Yeah, with the way it is now, with Dale Earnhardt Jr. using 8 tires instead of 4 to get himself slowed up, now he may have been able to make that corner and turn back onto the racetrack. You get in that gravel, though, like that, you're done. You're going nowhere. So good improvement on that corner.
Okay, let's go back to one thing real quick. You see all this gravel stuff. We talked about race strategy. The race strategy is going to be different because I don't think there's going to be that many cautions now. Because they're not going to be stuck in that gravel.
And we'll see a lot of drivers use that extra pavement and try and keep their foot in it. Now, the last corner, we saw a couple of crashes in the last couple of years off that last turn where the track really bottlenecked down between the pit entry on the right and the racing barrier on the left. Remember this one a couple of years ago? As David Gilliland got knocked around and the whole track blocked up. Bobby Labonte
hard, yeah.
Sam Hornish Jr. catches the end of the pit barrier. All kinds of stuff there.
Yeah.
So what the track has done in reaction to that, as they've done this safety modification and upgrade around the Watkins Glen circuit, is they've installed a big, long, safer barrier system there and extended out the rumble strips and the paved part of that racetrack. There's no more little grass strip off that corner. Now it's all pavement or concrete that a driver might have his tires on there. And again, look at that new version safer barrier that's mounted there for protection as well. So a lot of changes, a lot of upgrades at this Watkins Glen course as they have proceeded on and reacting to various things over the years. Sprint Cup qualifying, top of the hour. Stay with us.
NASCAR Nationwide Series qualifying is brought to you by Quiznos. Buy an entree and get a kid's meal free all day, every day at Quiznos. And Wrangler. For unbeatable comfort and value, you can count on Wrangler Jeans Company.
You know, I know a lot of the country's baking under some pretty intense heat right now. I hope that you're having a wish you were here moment looking at this right now.
You ain't lying,
it is
boy.
a sparkling, stellar day for racing at Watkins Glen. Lake Seneca off in the background, the campers filling the infield, and race cars on the racetrack, best of all. Now, Nationwide Series qualifying just concluded. Marcus Ambrose is going to start on the pole for this race. Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick set identical times. Logano gets the tiebreaker on owner points. And Carl Edwards, who's won the last 2 straight Nationwide Series road course races, going to be in row number 2. 7 of the last 9 Watkins Glen Nationwide Series races won from the first 2 rows on the starting grid.
Wow.
So keep an eye on those 4 drivers as they get ready to go. Now, a couple of quick notes here from 2 Nationwide Series team owners who also happen to be ESPN broadcasters. Rusty, the pit crews work from the opposite side of the car at this racetrack. Only time all year for the Sprint Cup guys in tomorrow's race. And so your Nationwide team's going to get a little extra help today for a team looking for some extra reps.
It sure will. Joe Gibbs Racing trains our pit crew members for the 62 and the 66. They asked for this race if Denny Hamlin's entire team off the Cup team can pit the number 62 to get extra reps, get used to it. We said, sure. So Denny Hamlin's team will be pitting that 62 all day long.
That's a good thing.
Hey, look, we're right there in the background. We're on TV.
Hey, let's wave.
And those are NASCAR Sprint Cup Series cars all lined up and ready to go for their qualifying session. One at a time, they'll make their way around this 7-turn track, and we will see that in just a minute. Now, here we go with that get your remote ready thing again.
Yeah, okay. All right.
Dig the remote control out and get ready. We're going to be flipping over for our coverage.
Click one button
on ESPN for the rest of the day. So just get ready. We'll tell you when to do that here in a little over a minute or so.
Yep.
But the Cup qualifying, Nationwide Series countdown, Nationwide Series race.
We're going racing,
all of that is on ESPN beginning at the top of this hour. Now, here on ESPN2, stick around. Sports Center coming up next. Bet they'll talk a little Red Sox and Yankees from last night.
Oh, my goodness.
I hope
you
they
would
do.
bring that up.
Well, what can I say? I'm a New England guy.
I know more about baseball now.
Yeah, you were at Cooperstown. Thursday, right? Sprint Cup Series qualifying next on ESPN. The Nationwide Series race beginning with NASCAR Countdown. Following that, 1:30 Eastern Time. And then, of course, tomorrow, the full day of action here from the Glen as well on ESPN. So we are glad that you're with us. Good excuse to stay inside, sit on the couch,
yes, sir.
Stay in the air conditioning, stay out of the heat.
It's going to be a brawl today at 1:30, I'm telling you.
And leave that lawnmower put right where it is in the garage or out in the shed or covered up or something like that. So, grab the remote if you want to stay with NASCAR. You are going to change over to ESPN for Sprint Cup Series qualifying in just a couple of seconds. Sports Center next here on ESPN2. If you want NASCAR, hit the button now.